The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Did Breece Hall just give away the Jets' offensive game plan for 2025? We'll play you what Breece said. You be the judge. We'll talk about that and much more. Matt O'Leary's going to join the show. It is the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go, here on a Tuesday, show number 2 on the day. When I get done with this show from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time this evening, you can hear me across the nation on ESPN Radio. I will be on once again from 7 p. to 10 p. Eastern. You can listen on the ESPN app, SiriusXM, Channel 80, or find your local ESPN affiliate. If you're in the New York area, like most of my audience, that will be 10:50 a.m. So check it out if you want to hear me hosting a national show tonight. There is some NFL talk on the docket, so we will certainly talk some football, and I will mix in some Jet references here or there when I certainly can. With that said, let's say hello right now to a good friend of the show. He has agreed to come on a few days earlier than normal to help me out with some scheduling stuff. The great Matt O'Leary joins us now. Matt, happy Tuesday. Appreciate you hopping on.
Absolutely. It's always a blast coming on here. I don't know. It might be tough to top last week's show. That was a pretty good one that we did on Thursday, but let's see if we could do it.
We will try, and we got a lot to talk about here. I found these comments here from Breece Hall to be very interesting. So these don't come from like a podcast Breece was on, or he was at Fanatics Fest and he did some interviews there. These come from the Jets in-house media podcast, in-house media team. So Caroline Hendershot sat down with Breece Hall, and Breece Hall was asked a question about his new quarterback, Justin Fields, and it's his answer in the middle of the response to the question here that I think is very telling. Take a listen.
Now, for you, what is it like having a new quarterback in Justin Fields handing you the ball off?
It's going to be fun. We're doing a lot of, read options, RPOs, which sometimes it sucks, but sometimes it works really well. So it's been good to get to know him and hang out with him. Getting a really great relationship with him outside of football so far. So, all we're going to do is just keep getting closer and keep challenging each other to get better.
I'm going to play it one more time here. The middle part of the answer, I think, is very telling.
It's going to be fun. We're doing a lot of, read options, RPOs, which sometimes it sucks, but sometimes it works really well. So,
read option and RPOs. We've been clamoring for it. It sounds like, at least in OTAs and minicamp, there's going to be a lot of that in the offense going forward for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, sign me up. I think when you have a quarterback like the Jets do in Justin Fields, that's the way that you're going to have some success. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts, quarterbacks like that. It's very often you see those RPOs. And, I think, a lot of Jet fans have called for that this offseason. And again, like I said, I think it makes a ton of sense. And it's a good sign already from Tanner Engstrand that this is the route that they're going to actually go here.
Other than Justin Fields, I believe the biggest X factor for the New York Jets' success this season is Tanner Engstrand, the offensive coordinator. I really believe that because I have a lot of faith in Steve Wilks and Glenn rectifying the defense. Maybe they're not the best in the league or top 3, top 5, but I think they're going to be improved. Certainly going to be a lot better than what they were last year. But on offense, there's so many unknowns with Fields, with Engstrand calling plays for the first time at the NFL level. We could get into the receiver competition. I mean, feels like it's Garrett Wilson, then Josh Reynolds, and then who knows. But I feel like this offense being successful, of course, it's on the quarterback, but Engstrand putting Fields in a spot to be successful with those RPOs, with those design runs, I think that's so paramount for the Jets to have any shot this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And play calling's been an issue for the Jets, especially in the Nathaniel Hackett era. Obviously didn't go very well the last couple of years. Mike LaFleur, I thought, did some things that, I liked, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, was the scapegoat because Zach Wilson didn't work out. And Engstrand, look, he hasn't done it at the NFL level. We know that, but at least he has some experience calling plays. And I like the work that he did in Detroit. I think his process in helping install the plays and speaking with, the quarterback room and wide receiver and tight ends and all the different positional groups is going to help him and translate to what he's doing here with the New York Jets.
When it comes to Breece Hall in particular, we've talked about this a lot. Do you think he's a good fit in this style of offense? Do you think that he's capable of resembling the player that we saw his first and second year in the league?
I definitely do. I mean, you look at I'm going to go back to him again, but it's hard not to. The Detroit Lions, they have Jahmyr Gibbs, who at this point is obviously a more established player than what Breece Hall has done in his career. But I think he could be used very similar to how Detroit uses Jahmyr Gibbs. He was, a lead rusher for them a year ago and is a very big factor as a pass catcher. And I think in this style of offense, the running back, whether it's the screen game, lining him up in the slot, lining him up out wide. Remember the game against Tennessee in week 2 last year, had that really great touchdown catch as a wide receiver lined up. I think he's going to definitely be an impact player in this offense. I'm holding my Breece Hall stock.
I had Will Parkinson on my first show today. He said that Breece Hall, he believes, will be the Jets' number 2 pass catcher when it's all said and done. Would you go that far? Do you think Breece could be used the way we've seen the guys like Christian McCaffrey be utilized with the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my pecking order right now, if I had to guess where it goes in targets, would be Garrett 1, Breece Hall 2, and then Mason Taylor 3 as the top 3 guys. And, from there, you probably get into Josh Reynolds, who's the wider, in my opinion, is going to be the wide receiver too. But I do think that it's going to be a very heavy focus on the passing attack to the running backs. And yeah, I think Breece Hall absolutely could catch, 75, 80 passes this year and give you, 600 plus receiving yards from the position.
If you're tuned in live, click the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel today. And this show in particular is the final show that you have a chance to enter our Jake Asman Asmaniac weekly raffle. Tomorrow on the show, we give away a Joe Namath signed helmet, a Don Maynard signed helmet, a Joe Klecko signed helmet, and a Darrelle Revis signed jersey. So if you want a chance to win any of those prizes, gift a channel membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher. And I'll tell you what, how about a daily raffle, baby? If you gift a membership, not only are you entered in our weekly raffle prize, but you got a chance to win what you see on the screen. A 8x10 certificate of authentication included photo of a signed Jets wide receiver trio, Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles, and Santana Moss. So your chance to win this signed photo at the end of the show. And if you want a chance to win, you could do what Frank already did. He just sent in a $50 super chat and says, take a hike, Patriots. This is reference to 6 rings. For those who have not been watching the show regularly, 6 rings. He's a guy that no one seems to like. He's a Pats fan that keeps calling in to a Jet show. If I see 6 rings name, we are going to throw him in the hole immediately because we are unfortunately left with no choice. So I appreciate you, Frank. You got us going here, and you're in our raffle for 10. With that said, Matt, I do want to play you some more sound. You brought up Mason Taylor. Perfect segue here. He also spoke with Caroline Hendershot on the Jets official podcast. And this was Mason Taylor also maybe giving us some interesting nuggets on how Tanner Engstrand intends to use the tight ends this season.
What have you thought of the way that Tanner Engstrand's offense has been operating and his plan for tight ends specifically?
Yeah, I know. We love it. All of our tight ends love it. We all have aspects and kind of different ways we come and impact the game. So I think Tanner does a great job of putting us in positions to be successful, and that's the biggest thing. But, you could tell by the way we install stuff and we go out there in the practice field, the tight ends definitely are going to be used.
Matt, what do you make of that? And just how involved will we see Taylor and the other tight ends?
Yeah, it's music to my ears. Unfortunately, we haven't seen a tight end give, really nice production since Dustin Keller in 2011 when he had over 800 receiving yards. I don't know if rookie Mason Taylor quite gets there. I do think, eventually he'll settle into being someone who gives you like 600 to 800 yards every year and, like 5 to 7 touchdowns, which would be a big improvement. But I think Jet fans have been asking for a long time to get tight ends more involved. And, I think Conklin had a couple of nice seasons with the Jets, but with how they're going to utilize the tight end this year in comparison to last year, I mean, Conklin had under 500 receiving yards. I know he had more touchdowns because the Jets threw a lot more in the red zone this past year than they did in previous years. But I really do expect Mason Taylor to be utilized. Like I said, I think he's third in receiving both yards and targets this year for the New York Jets. And, it's only going to go up from there. But even with the other tight ends, Stone Smart and Jeremy Ruckert, I think we do see multiple 2 tight end sets or multiple tight ends on the field, I guess I should say, in this offense, in both trying to run the ball and utilizing your tight ends in the passing game.
I think that is so paramount for the Jets because when you talk about like just the wide receivers, I think we are underwhelmed by the room as a whole. But if Mason Taylor, to your point, takes a huge step as a rookie, I'm not saying he's Sam Laporta or even historically great like Bowers was last year, but if he's good, it does open things up a lot for the offense, and the Jets clearly like him a lot. They used the 42nd pick in the draft on the dude. And I also would say this, Justin Fields, maybe not the best thrower of the ball. One thing he does do well is he's very accurate and very effective when targeting tight ends. That's a strength. Hopefully Engstrand knows that too, and they could play up to that strength with Fields under center.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at the numbers Cole Kmet had, or even early on in the year with Pat Freiermuth last year in Pittsburgh. He does go to the tight ends a lot, and I think when you have a quarterback who maybe has some question marks as a passer, having that safety blanket at the tight end position is really key.
I have the stat in front of me here. I'll pull it up. And I've given this stat on the show before, but I do think it's worth repeating because I think it does a really good job of articulating what we're talking about with Justin Fields. He has gone out there and over the sample size is over the last 20 games played minimum for any of these quarterbacks, right, to be eligible for the stat. Justin Fields' QBR is 87.7 when targeting a tight end. And if you look around the league, only Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy have had a higher QBR when throwing to the tight end. So Fields is good at that. He might not be the best deep ball thrower or intermediate passer, but he could find a tight end open. And I think if Mason Taylor's the real deal, that's going to help tremendously early on.
Yeah, it absolutely should. And I think the good thing, too, about Mason Taylor as a prospect, I think he has a high floor. We could debate what his ceiling is at this level, right? Like I gave my ceiling, I think he's, 600 to 800 yard receiving tight end, which is good, but maybe there's even more untapped potential after that. But he should be able to come in and start right away as a day 2 pick, which, as we know, the Jets haven't hit on a lot of those in recent years. But Mason Taylor's someone that I'm pretty confident in could come in and do the job.
Rich wrote in, Frank goated now. If we see 6 rings, he's already sent to the hole. Frank made that happen before we could even get rolling here. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Shout out to Blitz BK. Says, feels good to be awake for the afternoon show. Let's go, baby. Put some cold water on a washcloth, rub it in your eyes, and let's rock and roll. It's all happening here. Tuesday afternoon soiree with Matt O'Leary. Got some gifted memberships I want to shout out, and then I got another piece of audio I want to play and get Matt's thoughts. Indy Jets has gifted a channel membership. He's the first to do it, so he joins the raffle for one. Dre Day, the Jet fan, gifted a membership. Same thing for him. And OG Jet fan, this is our friend Tommy. He gifted as well. All 3 of those guys in the AsmanJake raffle, both weekly tomorrow and daily at the end of the show for 1 entry. All right, one more piece of sound now. This is from Braylon Allen. We're talking about Breece. We're talking about the identity of the offense and the running backs. Here's Braylon Allen providing some interesting nuggets on what he believes the offensive identity will be for the New York Jets this season.
What do you want the personality, the characteristic, maybe the mentality of this running backs room to be this upcoming season?
Dude, we're definitely going to be violent. We're all big physical guys, and we know that that's our power, that's our strengths, and obviously everybody has their own kind of secret sauce. And when you combine, that physicality with those special talents that we all have, it can be very dangerous, and I'm excited to put it on display.
Before we talk about just the identity and the violence and all that, are you expecting a big leap from Braylon Allen? How do you view him in this offense?
Yeah, I am. I think he did some things early on in the season last year that was exciting. We mentioned the Tennessee game already on the show. I think that was probably his best game of the year. Had a rushing and receiving touchdown that game. But towards the end of the year, I don't think he did really as much that stood out. I actually thought Isaiah Davis finished this season a little bit better than he did. But going into year two, I think, at least me personally, we know that he's young, but I think we truly forget how young he is. Last year was his age 20 season in the NFL. He's 21 years old going into year two. I think he's going to be very productive in this offense, and hopefully is the David Montgomery that that role in this Jets offense.
I think it's going to be fascinating to see what the carry level is for all three guys, because I do think Isaiah Davis is going to have a role too. You know what I think Braylon Allen doesn't get enough credit for? I thought he was a way better wide receiver than what people made him out to be last year. Better pass catcher. I can remember specific plays where he caught the ball and had a little space and then made something happen. Like, I do think everyone's talking about Breece getting the ball a lot out of the backfield as a receiver, and he should. I think there should be some plays for Braylon Allen as well. You might catch the defense napping a little bit, and I'd like to see both guys, maybe Breece and Braylon, be on the field at the same time together.
Yeah, I love it when both running backs are on the field at the same
pony package.
The pony package. Call it out, baby. It's the best. But yeah, and especially too with Braylon, they didn't really do that at all in college to ask him to catch passes. But you're right. That's something that I think was an underrated element to his game last year, and hopefully something they continue.
JT says, I agree completely. I think Breece and Braylon will be a Montgomery/Gibbs duo. That'd be nice. I mean, that would certainly be nice. If you look at like the most rushing attempts in the league last year, Gibbs was, I think, 8, and he only wasn't higher because they had Montgomery. So I think if you told me Breece was 8 in carries, but the reason he's only 8 is because they're effectively incorporating Davis and Allen into the offense, I think that's a recipe for having a successful offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to, factor in Justin Fields too, because there's going to be, not only do we know that he could scramble, but there's going to be designed runs for him too. And that might chip away at the totals for Breece Hall. He might not rank crazy high in rushing yards and rushing attempts because of how much they're spreading it around. But I think there's a chance that he could be more efficient with his usage this year.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Appreciate everyone tuned in here. We're talking with Matt O'Leary. Make sure you guys subscribe to Matt's channel. If you haven't already, end of the show, we'll do a daily raffle. Your chance to win a signed Wayne Corbett, Santana Moss, and Lavernius Coles 8x10 photo, which includes, as you see on the screen, the certificate of authenticity. Man, do I wish the Jets had 3 outstanding receivers like they had when you had Wayne Corbett, Coles, and Moss. This year's group, certainly not that. What did you make of the report from Rich Cimini that the clear-cut number 2 wide receiver on this team right now is Josh Reynolds?
I think it makes sense, and you're right. It's not as pretty as the early 2000s trio that we just saw right there. I miss those days, but I think, if Reynolds could be closer to what he was in Detroit 2 years ago, I think he could be okay. No one's going to confuse him for being one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, but he knows the offense. The coaching staff trusts him, and he's a big outside wide receiver. And unfortunately, with, they signed Allen Lazard in the hope that he'd be able to play that role and play it well. We know the drop issues he's had the last 2 years. I trust Reynolds, even coming off the year that he did in 2024, a hell of a lot more than I trust Allen Lazard. So by default, I think he is the number 2 receiver. It's an area that they should improve in years, going forward here. But I agree with it. I think he does end up being this team's number 2.
Okay, the offensive line rankings for PFF came out yesterday, Matt. The Jets checked in at number 9. 1, were you like, wow, the Jets, what? Did they make a mistake? And then 2, can they actually be a top 10 offensive line this year?
I think they can. I really do. And I was very happy to see that. I was slightly surprised. I thought they'd be in the top half of the league, but coming in at the top 10, I thought was a really nice nod. I love the quote at the bottom talking about the interior of the offensive line. I agree. I think it is one of the better trios at the guard and center spots that, that's in there in the NFL. A lot's going to rely on 2 young players in Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu. Olu, I liked what I saw a year ago. We'll see how big of a step forward he takes in year 2. Usually that's when offensive linemen start to hit their stride in their second year. And Membu as a rookie, we don't know, but I think what he was able to show playing right tackle in college, I think he can come in and at least be a dominant force in the run game right away. The pass pro might take a little bit, but the potential is really sky high with this unit.
I think if they're a top 10 offensive line unit, the floor for this team is probably at least 6, if not 7 wins. Like, you very rarely see top 10 O-lines be a part of football teams that are terrible, right? So I think it raises the floor. I mean, look, they should be that, though, right? I mean, they've invested so much into that unit. If the offensive line is not a strength of the team, they either had catastrophic injuries or some of these players we're thinking are pretty good just weren't, or the coaching sucks again. Like, we can't leave the 2025 season feeling like there's still major question marks with the O-line. Like, the question marks is maybe, do we re-sign AVT and Simpson? Can we only pay one, not the other? Fine. But like the 5 guys out there this year, the question can't be, well, crap, we got to replace them because one of them stunk. They weren't good enough.
Exactly. I mean, 4 of the 5 guys you used either a first or second round pick on. 3 first rounders, Joe Tippmann in the second round, and John Simpson was the free agent addition and a little bargain shopping. Not that he's crazy cheap, but we see guys get paid $15 million plus a year, and that's not where he's at, but was a really nice find from the Baltimore Ravens and was one of the better Joe Douglas free agent additions during his tenure here. But you're right. Like, that should be one of the strengths of the team this year. And if it's not going forward into 2026, then they have some bigger issues.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. James just sent in a $5 super chat with nothing attached to it. So, James, if you have something that you meant to say, make sure you write it in. And I'll tell you what, if you don't have anything to say, then I'll just play a dumb clip. So there you go, James. Thank you very much for the contribution to the show. Phone line's open. We'll do some calls with Matt, as we always do. I also want to get your thoughts, Matt, on a ranking that Jeremy Fowler puts together every single year. He goes through all the positions in the league. He seeks feedback from executives, coaches, both head coaches and coordinators, GMs. So he talks to basically everyone around football to put together these rankings. And Breece Hall, a year ago, was ranked number 2 in the NFL among running backs. Jeremy Fowler's rankings this year, Breece Hall went from number 2 to being completely thrown off the list in 2025. I believe he was an honorable mention. So more motivation for Breece. What do you make of this?
I guess my question would be, do we know how many guys are on this actual list? Is it a top 5? Is it a top 10? What are we working with?
Yeah, let me pull up the full list for you here. But to me, this just kind of shows you the perception of Breece. Like, he fell off last year. He played through injuries. He plummeted. And he's going into a contract year. He's got an opportunity to, certainly earn a big deal, if not from the Jets, then someone. Let's see. It's the top 10 rankings here. So 10 running backs were ranked, and then there were some honorable mentions where Breece was mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty fair if you have him just outside the top 10 with what he did a year ago. Now, similar to what we were talking about earlier, I think there's room for growth, right? With the running back, the offensive line rankings that we just talked about, they're at 9 now, but if everyone plays to their potential, it could be even higher than 9. Same thing with Breece Hall. I think after the year that he had, it's probably fair to bump him down a few spots because, let's be honest, he didn't reach expectations. Expectations were very, very high as he was the number 2 running back overall. But I think he can get himself into the top 10 with a strong year. But right now, probably fair to have him outside the top 10.
An anonymous NFL coordinator said to Jeremy Fowler on Breece, quote, "He's been one of the best in the league at points. I just haven't felt the same way. Recently, I know the injuries have been an issue." An anonymous veteran AFC personnel executive said, quote, "That's not all his fault. He was in a bad offense, still has good lower body balance and home run juice." I mean, look, Breece Hall to me is we talked about Fields and Engstrand being X factors. Breece to me is like right there. In fact, I think PFF made a separate list where they did make or break players for every team. And Breece was that player for the Jets, which makes a lot of sense because if he's rookie year Breece or even year 2 Breece coming off the ACL, that makes a massive difference for an offense that wants to be run first and has an offensive line that's supposed to be built to run the football.
Yeah, they're supposed to be a run-first team, and he's their number 1 running back. So it is a big year for him. And as you mentioned, it's a contract year. Did the Jets bring him back? Did they let him walk in free agency? Is it a franchise tag? Is it a long-term deal? There's a lot still on the table for Breece Hall. I think he's a talented player. I'm not, as I've stated, I'm not selling my Breece Hall stock, but it's time. He's got to go out there and prove it. And I think I think that he absolutely can this year.
James wrote in, love the show. Well, James, thank you very much for your support. Appreciate your super chat. Jets Worldwide is asking the question everyone wants to know. When is Matt O'Leary's bachelor party?
This weekend, actually. Funny enough. I know that rumor has it that Jake is going on a bachelor party this weekend, and mine is this weekend. We're going to upstate New York. We're going to get Airbnb, make a trip to Angry Orchard, and hit a casino up there.
Ooh, what casino?
There's a resorts, I think, in the Hudson Valley area, so we're going to hit that one.
Nice. Let's go. Well, I hope you win copious amounts of cash gambling.
Thank you. That's the goal, obviously.
What is the Matt O'Leary game of choice at a casino?
Either blackjack or roulette. Those are my two favorites.
I like it. I'm a blackjack guy myself, so I respect that. Rich says, hit the like, smash the like. He is right. Chris B says, resurgence climb back up the rankings. Breece Hall, I feel, my opinion. Chris, why did you type this like Yoda? Resurgence climb back up the rankings. Breece Hall, I feel, my opinion.
Don't know. We need a translator on that. Star Wars translator.
Yep. We definitely need a Star Wars translator. I'm glad you mentioned that because I might have a guy on the line that can help us.
There's no escape, you tubby bastard. Don't make me destroy you and make 6 rings a regular on the show.
Bullshit. I'll never let 6 rings be a regular.
Or maybe I'll send you back to Hogwarts School for attic-dwelling Jedi doodles.
Hey, if you don't stop playing that Harry Potter shit, I'm gonna leave the show anyway.
Uh-oh. You hear that, B. Skywalker? 6 rings just sent you to the hole again. There we go.
And rock on doodles.
Mas puto. That's garbage. Now, I like to get a couple things out in the open. I feel like George Carlin right about now. Can we all just start thinking about our future, the Jets' future, because it's looking very, very bright.
Is it?
Sure. Yes, it's looking very bright. It's like Christmas time when the star comes out and it starts shining very nicely and it's snowing very beautifully. That's what I like to see.
Hey, Beast, they're calling you R2 Beast 2. Is that a fair depiction of your Star Wars acumen? No?
I'm not gonna play this shit. Beam boom boom beam boom beam boom 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 bop beam boom bop beam boom bop beam boom boom beam boom beam boom 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 bop.
All right, we'll check back in with Beast when he calms down. We don't want to get him angry today. I was going in for the Star Wars interpretation of Crispy's comment. That's all I was trying to do there. All right. And then the chat goes after Beast Matt and becomes a whole thing. And I don't want to deal with it.
I don't blame you, but that R2D2 edit is the first time I've seen it. That is 10 out of 10 work from our guy Gator.
Albus Dumbledore says, I'm looking for my favorite student. Has anyone seen Beastbreaker?
Abracadoodle.
No, we haven't seen him, Professor Dumbledore. On that note, phone lines are officially open. Let's mix in your calls. First up today is Tommy. Tommy, what do you got for us?
Jake.
Tommy.
Leary, my brother, how are you?
Doing good. What's going on, Tommy?
I don't know if you remember, but I met you last summer at the Long Island, Staten Island. Sorry, Staten. Was it Long Island or Staten Island?
Long Island.
Long Island.
Yes.
Yeah, Long Island meetup.
Yes, that was a lot of fun last year.
That was awesome. I wanted to ask you a question, Matt. Where's my face like only halfway? Hold on.
Tommy, this call is a disaster, man. I expect more from you.
Hold up. I'm
holding.
Can you hear me?
We've heard you the whole time.
Okay. Matt, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. God forbid, okay, Breece Hall has an injury and is, say, out for 8 to 9 weeks or whatever. God forbid. I'm not hoping that happens. Do you think, and I have 2 points, but do you think Breece Allen, Braylon Allen, can become a number 1 running back in the NFL or behind the Jets offense? Do you think he has the capability to become a number 1 running back?
It's definitely possible. I don't think we've seen enough yet to definitively say yes or no at the NFL level, but I think at worst right now he looks like a good 1B option. But I'm hoping that this year we kind of get a little bit more of an indication. But just going off of 1 year from last year, I don't know if there's enough to say that definitely, yes, he can be a number one running back.
Okay, my second question was, God forbid Garrett goes down. Our number 2 is Josh Reynolds, and our 3 is Alan Lazard, and then we have the rookie. So isn't that a scary position to put your offense in as a first-year coach? Like, I understand it's a run first. We're going to run first, and we have our tight end Mason Taylor if he turns out, God hopefully. But if Garrett Wilson gets nicked up, who is going to catch the ball? Like, you can't just run the ball on offense and not have any options to throw the ball to.
No, you're right. It's a real concern. If Garrett does miss any time, the Jets are going to be in a real heap of trouble because, as you said, they don't really have a ton of great depth beyond this.
And why won't they sign one of these veterans just to, like, at least bring them into training camp and see what they can do? Like, I don't understand. Josh Reynolds is your 2. You have Alan Lazard as your 3. The rookie is the 4, and then Gibson and the other guy Corley. Like, it's just a horrible wide receiver room where I'm very concerned if, God forbid, Garrett Wilson gets hurt. And that's just my question. Like, why won't they do this? Like, what is the coaching in their mind? What are they thinking?
They probably think their group is better than what we think ultimately, right? Like, we're not at practice. We're not in the meeting rooms with them. They probably also look at it like they're going to run the ball maybe more than any team in the league, that they have Mason Taylor, who they're obviously higher on than any of us can be because they're there. I think that's the thought process, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'd love Keenan Allen, but is Keenan Allen choosing the Jets over another contending team if the offers are similar? I'm not sure. So I agree with you, Tommy. I'd love for them to add another receiver, but I think they probably feel better about that group than we do, and we'll find out who's right.
Real quick, how many wide receivers do you think we keep, Matt? I think we only keep 5 to 6, nowhere near 7.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get up to 7. It's probably at the most going to be 6 would be my guess.
And you think Corley makes the team or no?
I don't. I think it's going to be difficult for him to make the team. I hope he has a great summer because I don't want to just write off a 3rd-round pick for a year ago, but I think he's got a lot of work to do before he makes this team.
As always, guys, God bless.
Tommy, you rebounded nicely this call. Well done.
You get the fuck out.
Once we got his connection figured out,
Beautiful.
His camera shot centered. That was not bad. Good stuff from Tommy, who earns a raffle ticket with that call. Reminder, you tuned in late. I just saw for whatever reason we got a viewership spike. This is the last show that you have a chance to enter our Jets Ring of Honor Jets Mount Rushmore theme raffle tomorrow. Signed Revis jersey, signed Klecko helmet, signed Maynard helmet, and a signed Namath helmet, all signed and authenticated. We're giving that away on the first show tomorrow. End of this show, giving away this, a signed 8x10 photo of Lavernius Coles, Wayne Corbett, and Santana Moss. So your chance to win that if you enter our daily raffle at the end of the show. Shane Tuttle checks in with a super chat. He's been a channel member for 9 months. Thank you, Shane. Any trades that you think could happen before or during the season? I'd like to see how available Terry McLaurin is. Yeah, it'd be great. I just don't think the Jets would make that move when they got to pay Garrett Wilson still. As far as trades the Jets can make, people won't want to hear this. If the Jets suck at the bye, and guess what? The trade deadline's coming up. Guess who could be dealt at the deadline? Breece, Quincy, AVT, any of these guys, Simpson, any of these guys in the last year of their deal that haven't been signed, they're going to come up in trade talks. That's just how it goes. So I don't think the Jets are going to make notable additions in the trade market. I'd be surprised. But if they're terrible, I could see them trading some of those guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, I love Terry McLaurin. I think he's been a really underrated wide receiver the last 5 years or so. But he needs a new contract. So if you're trading for him, you also have to give him a new contract. And are you going to pay both Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson? I guess you can. The Bengals are doing that now, paying 2 high-profile wide receivers, but the rest of your roster is going to take a big hit. So it would be surprising if they did something like that.
Josh Reynolds could be dealt too, by the way. Lazard could be dealt. Any of these guys on one-year deals could be dealt at the deadline.
Yeah, you're right. Anybody on an expiring deal, Breece is the one that's probably going to get you the most. But yeah, I mean, we saw, what was it, either 2019 or maybe even in 2022. They're pretty bad then. They flipped a lot of guys at the deadline.
Just endure the suffering says we need to let the young wide receivers loose. Let them rip some turf. I mean, I think Arian Smith will be given every opportunity if he's ready.
Yeah, he definitely is. Has to get off the bike. I know, he had a good start to rookie mini camp, and then unfortunately was riding the bike towards the end. But we know he has a ton of speed. If he's able to get open and catch the ball more consistently, and then I think there's absolutely room for him in this wide receiver room.
Thabo is up next on the show. What's up, Thabo? Oh, you knew right away that there was a less than 4% chance of that call being successful. The second I started hearing the robot noises, Matt, I knew, you knew, this entire chat knew that this video was going to have to be played.
That's tough.
Tough. Let's try again with someone else who might have better connection. Artie is on the line. Hello, Artie.
Hey, Jake, Matt. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Matt, what do you think it means with all these changes that the Jets made in the front office, the analytics department, the scouting? How do you think that's going to affect not just this season, but the future?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to take a couple of years before they really integrate what they're trying to do, especially because, this past off season, they get hired, they have the draft shortly thereafter. I think next year is probably when you start to see these results a little bit more, but I'm always open to, getting fresh blood in here, especially with the playoff drought the Jets have been dealing with. I think it's a wise decision to shake up the front office a little bit.
Yeah, because realistically, if we're looking at a 5 to 7 win season, that doesn't mean it can be an unsuccessful season if they figure out what they need and these guys actually do know what they're doing and they're able to get what they need. In the long run, it'll probably be good.
Yeah, I agree. Not all, 7-win seasons are built the same, right? Like the 2022 7-win season was pretty disappointing because of how they started. But this year, if they win 7 games, but, we have an answer on Justin Fields, whether he's the guy or not. And the defense is a lot better. You feel good about Aaron Glenn. Like there's ways that you could have a 7-win season, still feel like it's a success this year.
Yeah, I was kind of bored yesterday, and I was YouTubing old Jet games, and I went back to the Indianapolis Colts wild card game that they won 17-16. And Sanchez was very mediocre, overthrowing everybody. But their defense was so damn good, and their special teams was so good. And Sanchez did just enough not to kill him, So, you could catch lightning in a bottle. I don't think we need Justin Fields to be great. But I think if we can hone him in and just have him do those, curl routes and, maybe throw deep once in a while and run and run and run, we might be, maybe we'll catch lightning in a bottle.
Hey, Artie, question for you.
Yes, sir.
M. Morris wants to know how much money you save a year by going nude.
Well, the thing is, I live on the back of a college driving range, so I got people out here hating golf balls. So,
whoa, hey now.
Usually I save my total nakedness for at night when the place is closed and it's like nobody around. I go in the pool.
I see.
Right now, I got a pair of shorts on.
Well, thank you for letting us know, Artie.
All right, guys, have a great show.
You get the fuck out.
Great stuff there. Let's see. Lane Kerner Bikini Express writes in. Lane, we apologize for sending a shipment of bikinis to Peg and Artie. As the CEO of this company, you shouldn't have to experience mishaps on our end. Yes, Lane is expecting a special delivery of bikinis from one of our listeners. And the Bikini Express apparently screwed up the delivery of the items.
Unacceptable.
Yep.
Get off the horn.
Very jet-like, the Lane Kerner Bikini Express. Disaster. Folks, on the line right now is a man who calls the show almost daily. And when he calls in, there's a game we play. And now it's time to play it. It's up to you to decide. Is he calling us from inside or Is he calling us from outside? Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello right now to the great Kyle Clifton. And I can't find his intro. Damn it. Here it is.
Fake inside, but also real inside.
I leave that to Boomtown to decide how to score.
Yeah, well, I have about 15 minutes left of work, so I can't go out in the sprinkler just yet. Another person that might come up at the deadline, depending on how things look in camp, could be Tyrod. He's got an expiring contract. If a team gets desperate and they're looking to overpay, who's to say if we have one win at the deadline that we might not try to eke things out with Adrian Martinez or Cook or whomever, right? That's an interesting. I would think we would be more willing to buy a backup tight end than a wide receiver in the trade market. What do you think about that?
It would definitely be cheaper, I think, to buy a backup tight end than it would to buy a number 2 wide receiver. So I would say it's definitely more likely than them trading for a wide receiver right now.
Right. And then the last thing is, the RPOs. That's kind of what we expected. It makes total sense for Fields. I don't know why it wasn't done more in his time in the league. Let's see if it takes. All we can do is cross our fingers and hope. Great call by Tommy before, and with the connection, and there's no doubting his beard game. It was looking sharp today.
Tremendous. Kyle, excellent call by you as always.
Take care, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Clifton, the great Kyle Clifton. Eli wrote in, Clifton inside, Lane call to last over 1 minute and over 3.5 beast appearances. That's Eli's Asmaniac parlay for the afternoon show. He got the Clifton inside call right, so he hit the first leg of the parlay. He needs the Lane train. Lane, I know you're out there, you horn dog. He needs you to call in, and I'll keep you on for over 1 minute, perhaps, assuming your connection's okay. And then we'll see about Beast. Beast of the loose cannon. We could just throw him on at any point. You never know. So keep that in mind as well. But I like that parlay there from Eli. Matt, your thoughts on that Asmaniac parlay?
I would take the over on all of those. I love it. That's a great call. I think anytime Lane comes on, he's always going to be on for a little bit. And, Beast is always a fun one to go to. So I like those.
Rich writes in, imagine actually developing some talent. That's the biggest thing the offensive coaching staff has to do. Say whatever you want about Salah, but that defensive staff he hired was good at developing players, whether it was JFM or Quincy or Bryce Huff, who was a UDFA. Like, you go down the line, there were guys that got better under the tutelage of that defensive staff. You can't point to one player on offense that's actually gotten better. Like, Garrett Wilson was already good when he entered the league. They don't get credit for that. Breece has actually gotten worse if you think about it. Like, they don't get credit for that, certainly. Like, you go down the line, like, they have to find guys on offense that we're not thinking are any good that end up surprising us. No one thought Quincy Williams would turn into a first-team All-Pro linebacker when they had him, or any of the other defensive players I've shouted out. Like, that, to me, is so paramount, Rich, so you're right. Hopefully Engstrand and company could do it, because that's a major key, not just for this year, but whoever the quarterback is going forward. You're going to need to find diamonds in the rough building your football team on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it really goes back to one of the X factors we talked about at the beginning, Tanner Engstrand. How good of an offensive coordinator is he? The last few weren't able to develop the talent on the offensive side of the ball. It's been an issue for the Jets for a really, really long time, and you have to hope that Tanner is different this time.
Wow, 1,000%. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Appreciate all of you tuned in today. Let's see. Here was a tweet from Will Parkinson I wanted your take on, Will. Not this, although we are giving this photo away at the end of the show. Thank you for the glitch. StreamYard, here it is. Here's the tweet from Will. Let's make it a little bigger. Not that. See what I'm dealing with? All right, here we go. Excited to see what an Aaron Glenn training camp is going to look like. Think it will be far more intense, actual direction, more hitting, and feel as much like an old school summer as you can get away with in today's NFL. I think that's a good thing if you are a Jets fan. One, do you agree? And two, what do you think this means for the preseason? Are we going to see the Jets players play in the preseason a lot more than we have in the past?
I love this tweet. I think it's a good one from Will Parkinson. I like the subtle actual direction line in there too. That's kind of funny if you think about it. But as far as the preseason goes, I would think yes, especially because, the last couple of years with Rodgers, he only played that, what was it, 2 drives the first year and then didn't play at all last summer. I think Justin Fields probably plays a little bit in that second game. And so the rest of the starters, I think, get a little bit of a run in that second game as well. And I do think it's a good thing because this is a first year, coaching staff and regime. They really need to see what they have, implement their offense. Not that they're going to show, everything in preseason. They're going to keep it pretty basic and bland, but they need to work together. So I am definitely open to them getting more run in the preseason.
I'd play Fields in the preseason. He needs the reps. Like, he needs to work with his O-line. It's a brand new offense. I would play Fields in 2 of the 3 preseason games. I would.
Yeah, they should, right? As you mentioned, he needs the reps with the offensive line. He needs to work on getting the timing down. He doesn't have, the cachet that Aaron Rodgers did coming in here to go, I'm not either not playing or only going to play 1 drive in the preseason. Doesn't really work that way. I think, Fields absolutely is someone who would benefit from playing.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Hey, how about Eli coming through with 10 gifted memberships? That means Eli is in our raffle at the end of the show for 10, and our raffle tomorrow, our weekly raffle, for 10 entries as well.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
If you hear your name called, Eli made you a channel member. DBZJC, Julian Vasquez, Matt Shaw, Kiekelman, Hold the Onions, Billy McCain, Private, Gregor Smith, all receiving memberships there from Eli. Eli, appreciate you, my friend. Good luck in the raffle. You certainly have done well over the last couple of weeks. Let's get to more of your calls here before we say farewell to Matt O'Leary and his weekly spot on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is PBM time.
Purple belt Mike, he loves the dark knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick your dirty ass.
I had a Breece Hall question.
Okay.
So, do you think that Breece Hall will finish as a top 10 running back? Because they released going into the season the top 10 running backs, and he did not make it.
Yeah, I think he has a chance to finish in the top 10. Not crazy high, but maybe somewhere in that 8 to 10 range.
And is that going to be limited because of the split with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, or you think that there's just 10 guys better than him?
I think that part of it's going to be he's not going to have the statistics because of the split, and you got to throw Justin Fields in there too with his rushing. It's going to eat away at the reps for Breece.
I think it's crazy that Bucky Irving is ranked higher than him. I think that's kind of crazy. Am I crazy to think that?
You're nuts. No, you're not nuts. I just think Breece the perception of Breece was that he was bad last year, which is tough to argue.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like it was just coaching, though. I feel like he was the same guy. It's just it got out of hand quick. They were 2-6, right, or 2-8, something like that.
Yeah, he also played through injury. The line scheme wise was terrible. I mean, they were 31st in run block win rate, so that's what Breece was dealing with too. I mean, Brian Baldinger called their scheme high school level, so I think he's going to bounce back in a major way.
All right, thanks, guys. Peace.
I like the shirt, Mike.
That's the last time they were there. We got to get them back. It's been 3 years now.
Can you give us a nice little fist? We don't want you to move with the ACL, but can you give us one of those? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
There it is. Love it. Thank you, Mike.
Purple belt Mike, he loves the dark knight. He's got a green pool and he jumps right in. Maybe someday he'll get a brown belt, but for now he's just that purple belt Mike. Purple belt Mike, it might be purple, but he can still kick this.
3 Long Island guys on the screen there, Matt.
Things you just absolutely love to see. Strong Island, baby.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, here we go. We asked for this man to call in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to hop on the lane train.
Hi, how are you? Breece Hall. That's good.
Hey, Lane.
Oh, hello. Oh,
what's up?
So,
Lane?
how do you feel? Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. So, how do you? I have a Jets question. How do you feel about Breece Hall? Metal
I feel pretty good about him. I would think he's in for a big year, Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
Lane,
good.
why is it so loud behind you? Turn the TV down.
Okay, wait.
The volume
What?
is so loud.
Yeah, I'm still here. Not yet. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I'm just doing the laundry as I'm talking to you.
Doing some laundry?
Yeah, I'm actually doing it. And, I like doing it. But, yeah, I mean, I think the Jets are going to do good. They got to move the ball up and down the field.
Lane, let me ask you something. Would you say the key to the Jets being a good team is to score more points than the team they're playing that given week?
Yeah, in week 19.
In week 19, absolutely. That's the playoffs, right?
No,
Wild card
beginning of
round,
the season.
week 19.
Yeah.
Yep.
Week 19 would be the wild card.
Exactly.
If they get that far, yeah.
So you think the Jets are going to get to week 19?
I hope if they win enough games.
Me too. Matt, what do you think about week 19 for the Jets?
It's huge. Make or break week for the New York Jets this year, week 19.
They got to get through week 1 first, though.
That's right. And then week 2.
Yeah.
And then what comes after week 2?
Week 3.
That's right. And then what?
Week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7.
What about 8?
Yeah, and week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11, week 12, week 13, week 14.
Hey, Lane, do you think the Jets could lose the bye week? Are you concerned?
Well, it depends how they play. I got to think about it. I think that, let's see what happens. It's only one game that they play first.
Right.
I can't really afford to go to the Jets game because it costs us too much money. I would like to go to meet everybody, and bring them, but it's hard.
I agree. Now, Lane, have the bikinis arrived that the Lane Bikini Enterprises sent?
No, not yet. I looked.
Keep looking; they'll be there.
I know they went to Florida for some reason. Do you know
they were
what it
sent
is?
to the wrong address?
So how do you feel about the Islanders? You think they'll win this year?
The Islanders, Matt. I'll let you handle this.
Love it. All right, some Isles talk on the show today. I think this year is going to be a little bit of a transition year. They're getting younger, which I like, but I'm hoping their number one pick, makes their team plays well.
Lane, why is it so loud in the Lane Train household?
No, I am just making the TV lower, and I'm still, but I just gotta make it low.
Okay.
I'm watching some TV actually.
Are you? I couldn't tell.
How are you doing today? You okay?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, so thank you for taking my call.
Lane, anytime you want to call in, you're always invited to.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Thank you very much, Lane. Some Islander talk there, Matt.
He knows the way to my heart. I love the Lane Train.
That was a whirlwind. Let's get the show back on track. There's a guy on the line that usually does exactly that.
Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your
Green tea, nice and organic. Does anybody drink organic green tea around here?
I drink coffee.
Yeah, I'm a coffee guy too.
Not my type. Not my type. Green tea, very organic, very good. Got it last Christmas. Very delicious, by the way. Very good. Checkpoints. We are going to see some. Did you see that spine buster that I put on this morning there, Matt?
No, he missed it.
Oh.
Can you give us a tutorial? What an Aaron? Hold on. Move the mic. Move the mic. That's not even connected. Can you do us a favor, Beast, and give Matt O'Leary the full tutorial of what you believe O-line versus D-line and Aaron Glenn-led practice will look like?
First example, 4-3. All your big dudes right here, 300 to 330 pounds, has to look good. They have to be ready and not jump the line at all costs. Your CB back here, your quarterback, right here, has to be at least 220, 230. Side, at least 180 to 190. Back row, 150 to 160. And when you look at that quarterback, look at him dead in the eye and tell him, come here, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna knock your teeth out, and then I'm gonna make love to you know who. Yeah, let's get ready for the pain.
Who?
Come on, baby. What did I tell you, son? Welcome to the NFL, bitch. This is JETS country. You better remember that. You got plenty more.
But Beast, isn't this the Jets versus the Jets?
That's right.
So it's practice. So why would the Jets player, after tackling the other Jet players, give the Jet chant?
Warning. Now for another example, if you want to run for me, 1, 2, Spine Busting City. That's where you go when you go down. Don't play with us New Yorkers. You know why? We'll take your teeth down your throat. We'll take everything from you. Example, Exhibit A and B. No pain, no game.
Hey, Beast, I need one more rush. It's the fourth quarter. We need to stop.
This is what you do in a stopping a situation. All your guys up here, the 5-2 line. Come here. Come here. Come here. What I tell you, this is not for you, son. This is JETS. Now you're in my country.
You know what time it is? A beast breaker, 666. I'm gonna take my fist and shove it up your ass, and then he gotta go.
Now that was something, Matt. I'm ready for training camp.
How has he not got a call to be the defensive tackle next to Quinnen Williams? That's what I want to know.
It's a great point. Let's see. New Q is now referring to Beast as Vince Beast Fork.
You can play that role, man. Clog up the middle. Stop the run.
Weed says that Beast is going to have a heart attack live on the show.
Well, that would not be good. I hope that's not the case.
Beast, how's the heart rate?
You think I've just gotten started? You think I was born yesterday?
All right. Well, that was a very productive Beast phone call, I'd say. Matt, what a way to end your weekly appearance here.
I love it. It's something new every week with this show. Things you love to see.
Imagine if the Jets were ever good.
Would be nice. It would be really nice.
It'd be awesome. Appreciate you hopping on, man. Matt O'Leary, NY on YouTube. Follow him on social media as well. Matt's awesome. Does a great job, and he'll be joining us throughout the remainder of this offseason and the training camp. So looking forward to it. Matt, have a great bachelor party. I'm sure I'll talk to you, but enjoy, man. And I can't wait for the wedding in November, man. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Matt O'Leary of Matt O'Leary NY on YouTube with us there. All right, we got some remaining calls. Plus, if you just tuned in late, you have missed quite the show. We're giving away this at the end of the show. It's a signed photo of 3 of the best Jet wide receivers of the last 25 years. Wayne Corbett, Santana Moss, and Lavernius Coles. In fact, the Jets have not hit on a wide receiver on day 2 or day 3 of the draft since Lavernius Coles. It's him and Jericho Cottrey. I guess you could say Jeremy Curley, maybe. Like, he was not bad. But point is, these are when times were good. Pennington dropping back, and he had these 3 guys he was throwing to. Anthony Beck, the tight end. God, do I miss it. Anyway, your chance to win this. If you gift the membership, if you call into the show, you also get a raffle ticket. We're doing that a little listener appreciation way to enter the raffle for both daily and weekly prizes, which will be tomorrow. And all you have to do, if you win, just let me know what address to send it to you. So check it out. Your chance to be a part of our raffle at the end of this show. With that said, let's get back to your busy calls right now. And Jets Jesus is on the line. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey, Jake. Fun time with Matt O'Leary.
Absolutely.
Definitely good stuff. I like what Breece and Braylon are talking about. I forget what show it was recently, but you you dropped, and probably not for the first time, that if the Jets organization did more listening to what the sane fans or rational fans have said, this team would be in a lot better shape. And I think we're seeing this group of coaches and GM make decisions that align with a lot of what the fans have wanted. Now, some of that is us predicting what they're probably doing based on the players that they're drafting and signing and what we know of them and that kind of stuff. But at least it's consistent, and we're seeing that consistency in the players. And obviously, we're all excited to see what comes out of camp. But it seems like things are on a good track.
I agree. I've been encouraged by Glenn. I certainly have been encouraged by Engstrand. I think Engstrand is really impressive when he speaks. And I like Wilkes a lot, but I don't have any concerns about Wilkes. Like, he's a proven commodity. I like the fact he's been a head coach before. I think that will help Glenn transition to the role. So we'll see. I mean, look, if you believe in Aaron Glenn, and I know a lot of Jet fans want to, then you got to hope he hired a good staff, because I think ultimately what did Saleh in was he didn't have a good enough offensive staff to help him.
Yeah, and Matt O'Leary brought it up. Isaiah Davis had the better kind of second half, or tail, not really second half, but tail end of the backup running back, between him and Braylon Allen. But I like Braylon Allen a lot. Not that I dislike Isaiah Davis by any means, but I really want to see Braylon Allen succeed. He's an exciting player. He's young, and I don't know. I like his combination of power, but with good hands, and able to really do something with the when he gets the ball.
Absolutely. I think that's well said, Jets Jesus. Now, did you cut your hair? It seems like the chat has noticed a different haircut. Oh, we got the bun
it's
in.
just up, dude. It's super hot here.
I feel that.
We're well out of snowboard season. I'd be dripping sweat. Like you, I'd be sweating off my facial hair if I had my hair down. It'd be rough.
I feel that. I appreciate the call, Jets Jesus. Well done.
Take care, Jake.
Jets Jesus checking in. Always a solid caller. He gets a raffle ticket for that. Real quick, tomorrow, Namath helmet, Maynard helmet, Klecko helmet, Revis signed jersey. We'll give that away on the first show tomorrow morning. I want to update the audience on a game we play. If you're a Patreon user, you've noticed that there's a bingo card that you could download. Charles Gorman bingo, and now Beast Breaker bingo. So play along when Beast calls into the show. You get a free space, and then follow along. Hey, flips the bird. First off, heavy metal reference. Mentions Six Rings. Mentions the department. Appears shirtless. Abracadoodle. Says a wrestler's name. Cheap toilet paper. Enough is enough. Grabs his baseball bat. Move along. Makes a death threat. Hell no. Video game reference. Swears. Are you on crack? Quotes someone. Talks about food. BS. Calls someone kid. Jumps on bed. Not going to say it again. So play along if you aren't already playing. Right, Beast?
What the hell is this shit? Are you serious? Are you? Abracadoodle. Are you kidding me? I've seen some crackheads in my outfit. This is rejected. As in, rejected. You know what that meant by rejected?
Rejected. Sorry.
That's correct. Ese vato. Don't play with this one, Holmes. Don't play with this one. I'm already feeling like Flair right now, just waiting to do a I'm gonna strangle you half to death.
Bingo.
Wait. Where?
I had bingo.
Where's that? Show me. There's no dots. There are no dots there.
Bingo. I have a card in front of me, and you did all those things. I got bingo.
The whole card.
I don't need the whole card. I just need diagonal or across.
Okay, that's fair. Fine. Don't include me in it because I don't play it. The only bingo that I play is Price is Right bingo. And as a matter of fact, I'm already on 152. I'm already a hot, blazing, smoking gun. Just remember that. When you play with this gun, don't go cowboy on me. I'll go cowboy on you. And I'm calling it yeehaw.
Hey, Beast, I don't know if you were watching. Before the show, there was someone that was looking for you. Did you see that?
Who? Let me see it.
I think one of your old professors, Albus Dumbledore.
In the words of George Lopez, Mas puto. This guy sounds like El Chingo Verga. Get him out of here.
Bingo.
Pew, pew, pew. Abracadoodle.
All right. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. This will not be a 2-hour show today because I got 3 more hours of radio to do tonight. 7 hours of broadcasting. The magic is in the work, as Tom Thibodeau said, and then was fired. Hopefully Mike Brown is good. He was introduced today. We'll be talking about that on the radio later. Let's see. Oscar says saying something in another language should be on the bingo card. Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, let's be real. Boomtown put this together. We could probably fill out 2 separate bingo cards for Beast alone. The man is a content machine with what he says. Speaking of content machines, this guy called into my radio show locally on ESPN New York on July 4th. He called into my national show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Radio on Sunday. And he has called into our show right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to the one, the only, the great, Big Joe. Gator says, I think Big Joe might need an intro.
Big Joe. Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in. Big Joe. I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles. We're talking about Big Joe. My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
I put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands early. Came home just chilling. Big Joe. What's up, Jake?
Hey, Big Joe.
What you doing, man?
Big Joe.
Yo.
8 days from now, it's time.
Yeah, it's time. We worked on it a little bit today.
The Big Joe Show featuring Shania Twain.
That's right. You going to listen?
I'm going to listen to every second of it.
I feel you. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, I got some work after this tonight.
Hey, I saw on the ratings I ended up 8th in June.
Yeah, the committee put you at 8. Boomtown put you down at 8.
I'll take it.
I'll tell you what, I think your July has already been stronger than your June. So I think you got a chance to make a real run.
That'll work. All roads lead to March.
That's right. And you know a thing or two about March, being the college basketball coach that you are.
Yes, sir.
Rick Kent is requesting that you move so he knows you're not paralyzed.
I'm not paralyzed. I just like to lay back in the recliner.
You like to chill.
I like to chill, man. I got some recruiting coming up this week. Going to be busy. Going to South Carolina tomorrow. And Saturday and Sunday, same thing.
You seem to be inspiring people in the community, Big Joe, because Gator has never been more chill.
That's good. People should relax. But I gotta leave here about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, go down to South Carolina. recruit all day.
Chris B says, Big Cho, much respect for you.
Appreciate it, Chris. I love all the Asmaniacs. You guys are the best.
Black Gypsy writes in, Cho that thing, chew it, Cho it.
You know, I think we're going to go with the chosen ones on the show.
So your listeners are chosen ones?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You like that?
I certainly am a chosen one.
I was a point guard when I played.
Someone got a picture of you coaching, by the way, this past season. You look good.
Do I got a Knicks shirt on?
You do. A Jake Asman Knicks shirt.
Oh, nice. That's even better. I want to be the head coach of the Jake Asman team.
I'll tell you what, if we put together an Asmaniac Hoops team, you're the coach.
That's a nice picture.
It reminds me of the Mona Chona.
It looks just like me.
It does. Very handsome.
Appreciate that. That's a good picture.
What do you like better, that or the Chona Lisa?
I like that picture the best.
I see.
That picture's tight, man.
Very valuable, this picture.
What, the Chona Lisa?
Yeah.
I don't see it, man. I like the last one.
You like the Coach Cho?
I like that one.
I see.
That one's tight, man. You need to send me a copy of that.
Jack wants to know what bothers you, Cho. You seem always unfazed.
I don't know. I don't let things bother me too much.
Beastbreaker says, I would be a good coach. I have experience in baseball and football. Would you consider hiring Beast as an assistant?
Yeah, he'd be a good motivator as long as he didn't choke anybody to death.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we have, you interview coaches all the time. You recruit, you work with people. I'm going to bring Beast into the conversation here, and you kind of walk through the interview process. You tell me if he's a good fit to be an assistant coach, all right?
All right.
All right. Beast is with us now. Beast, how are you?
Sore right now. My knees are hurting, but I don't care. I'd rather have sore knees than a broken back. Mr. Cho, how are you?
What's up, Mr. Beast?
Have had better. You saw the examples that I like to lay out for our boys. It's called Discipline 101. You know what Discipline 101 means? Welcome to the class of pain.
I like it. Now, do you want me to interview you to be a basketball coach?
I don't do well with basketball. Basketball would put a lot of strain on my heart because I don't want to have this going full out of control like some kind of a speed dial. I prefer baseball and football, but not too much basketball because basketball is a very stressful sport. It's 82 games out of the year, and it's rough. Sure, you gotta have to go down the road, to every city in every part of the world. But I gotta worry about my heart first. I have to take care of that first. Baseball or football is perfect for me. I can work with that, 4 months out of the year. That's fine with me. Basketball goes from October all the way to June. That's tough. I mean, that's a living hell right there. That's like having your hair pulled out.
Hey, Beast, the whole point of this was that you're going to be an assistant on the basketball team. Now you're saying you don't want to coach basketball.
I need to look at numbers. I need to look at who are the best players and who has the balls. But if they don't add up and the numbers don't look correctly, sorry to tell you, it's called you got to get sent back down. That's how business works.
Big Joe, what do you think of this?
I don't know. I thought he wanted to interview to be assistant coach with basketball. I guess he doesn't.
I'm a baseball, football guy. Basketball is stressful. It's 9 months out of the year. Same thing like baseball. Baseball's like, okay, from April to October. Okay, that's May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, it's almost 6 and almost close to 7 right there because depending on the World Series too. It could be very stressful. Sure, I might have to have heart surgery done, but you know what? If it has to come to the part where I have to have a pacemaker put in, I'll have no choice then to do it. That's how the world works.
Hey, Big Joe, I'm not
anymore.
following anything he's saying. Are you?
No, I'm just trying to be polite though.
Nothing isn't cheap anymore. Nothing is not cheap anymore. You know why? We have health insurance. We have other forms of insurances that we have to pay off, either if we have Medicaid or Medicare.
Alan writes in, this is definitely the meeting of the mindless.
Alan, you don't know nothing about football because you ain't even on my level, boy. You're just a pug who can't hang in my department. You're not in my league. You couldn't lace my boots, my bags, or even carry my jockstrap. Take it to the back, Jack.
Bingo.
NWO. For take it to the bank. That's how it rolls.
All right, Beast.
NWO. When you're NWO, you're NWO for life.
Right.
Get it.
All right. Well, if anyone else wants to interview with Big Cho for a spot on the coaching staff, the assistant coach on the Asmaniac Hoops team, Big Cho's the head coach. Please write in the chat. Call on immediately. We'll hopefully get someone that wants the opportunity. Right, Big Cho? I mean, you got to have some assistant.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He said it was too stressful.
Yeah, I guess it could be. I mean, you've been coaching your whole life, right, Big Cho? Is coaching stressful?
It can be. You just gotta be able to take away the things you can't control. You know, you worry about things you can't control, then you're going to be bothered all the time. That's how you get stress. You know, stress makes you have a friggin' heart attack.
It's a great point.
So I try not to worry about things I can't control. It's just like when recruiting, you know, you recruit, you try to do your best pitch, you work with the guys for a year, and then they decide to go somewhere else, then you just move on to somebody else. You don't take it to heart.
AG's burner writes in, Steve A. Chokey.
What's that mean?
AG's burner writes in, Pikachu.
Pikachu? What's that?
AG's burner writes in, Jokemon.
Yes, I land several recruits.
Hey, Big Cho, say gotta catch them all, Chokemon.
Say what?
Gotta catch them all, Chokemon.
Gotta catch them all, Chokemon.
Now, if you were Ash Ketchum, would you pick a Chomander for your starter Pokemon or Chokemon?
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Neither do I, to be honest.
At least you're honest.
I'm an honest man, Big Cho. Which president didn't lie, Big Cho? Was that Honest Abe or was that George Washington?
I think it was George Washington.
Then why'd they call him Honest Abe?
I don't know. He must have done something wrong. He got shot.
Yeah, but I think he got shot because people were upset that he ended slavery, which I would say he's on the right side of history for that, having that take. Slavery bad.
Hey, let the listeners know my background is Bulgaria.
Would you like to let them know yourself?
Nah, my name comes from Bulgaria.
Ralphie wants to know, have you thought about naming the podcast Chewed Up and Spit Out by Shania?
Negative.
Okay.
I'm not Bulgarian. That's part of my heritage.
I see.
I mean, I didn't wasn't born in Bulgaria. I've never even been to Bulgaria. Just, certain generations of my family are from Bulgaria. That's where I got my name. How many of your listeners do you think are going to listen to the show when it drops?
Well, I have about 42,000 subscribers. So, I mean, realistically, we're probably talking at least 39,000 that are going to tune in.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure.
You know what they say about pressure?
What do they say?
It creates diamonds.
That's true. I just hope I can live up to your deal, man.
Hey, if you're in the chat right now, write in if you're going to be watching the Big Cho debut episode on July 16th.
Hey, Jake, what are you going to be on the radio today?
7 to 10 Eastern on ESPN's national network. So 10:50 a.m. in New York, the ESPN app, Sirius Channel 80.
10:50?
Yeah, I don't think you're in New York, though, Big Cho, so that wouldn't apply to you. I would just use the ESPN app and hit the radio tab.
Oh, well, I get the on my phone. I have the 880 app and the 1050 app.
Okay, then hit 10:50, and you'll be all set.
7 to 10?
7 to 10.
You need me to call in?
If you want to call in, Big Cho, I don't know if we're doing calls, but if we are and you want to call in, absolutely.
Oh, you're not going to do any calls?
It's not necessarily up to me. I haven't had the pre-show meeting yet with the producer and my co-host for the night.
Who are you co-hosting with?
David Dennis Jr.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
He's a big fan of yours.
Hey, you need to give me the hookup so I can come and fill in sometime and talk on the radio. I told
I'll
you.
have you as a weekly guest during hoop season.
I was down here for 3 years on the radio in Charlotte with WFNZ.
Were you a show host for them?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 years. So I'd love to come up there, man. They can fly me up. I'll do a show, fly me back.
I'll tell you what, when I get done with the pre-show meeting later, I'll have some clarity on whether or not we're taking calls.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, Big Cho, thanks for the time today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. Have a good show tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Cho. Gator says, I think Big Cho might need an intro.
Big Cho. Yeah, it's nice. I like my recliner. No, I just called to check in. Big Cho. I don't like all those wrinkles on my head. I don't have that many wrinkles. We're talking about Big Cho. My implants are coming in 3 months.
The Kardashian ones?
I put the jet gear on for you. Been running some errands early. Came home just chilling. Big Cho.
Now, that's a legend right there, folks. Big Cho is one of the greats. All right, a couple super chats here, and then we get back to your calls. Where were all you people? The first hour of the show. It's always when I have to have I'm hard capped on how long I could go that we have 10 people waiting on hold right now. It's insane. Kyle Clifton with a super chat. What kind of crazy sportsbook would take Eli's parlay? Jane holds their financial future in his hands. Are you misgendering me, Kyle Clifton? Jane. I know what you mean. Jake holds their financial future in their hands. Clifton, thank you for the super chat. You are, in addition to your call, now officially in the raffle for 3 total entries at the end of the show. For those who tuned in late, Eli's parlay hit. It hit a while ago. He had a Clifton inside prediction, nailed it. Lane's call to last over 1 minute today. It did. And over 3.5 Beast appearances. I think Beast has been on the show maybe 4 times. Maybe. So, Eli, congrats, cash money. And Eli's like, I made money, so I'll pay it forward. And you get the 10 channel memberships. Bronx Jet fan with a super chat. I had 1,591 scrimmage yards 941 rushing and 597 receiving. And Wilson had 1,095 yards. Does it make sense to trade Hall, even though 2024 was considered a down year? He was number 2 in productivity. I'm not really sure the beginning of this, what you're talking about. Breece didn't put up 941 and 597 last year. Those were not his stats last year. I mean, he was the Jets' most productive running back by default. Like, he got the most carries. Breece last year had 876 rushing yards. From a receiving standpoint, he had 483. 2 years ago, coming off the ACL, where remember him and Dalvin Cook were splitting carries, which was a joke. Breece had 994 rushing yards and 591 receiving yards. Only Christian McCaffrey had more yards from scrimmage in the NFL among running backs. And I think Breece was either 4 or 5 in just total yak or yards from scrimmage, YAS. He needs to bounce back if the Jets are going to be any good. All right, let's try Thabo, because Thabo called in earlier, and we had some connection issues. What's up, Thabo?
Hey, what's going on, Jake? Hey, that's my bad for earlier, bro. Shout out to Verizon. They got shitty service and everything. But so I live in Indianapolis. I'm going to be up there for the Jets and Steelers game week 1. I was just trying to see if you had any reasonable price hotels that maybe you could put me on with where I could stay at.
For week 1?
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could give you a good answer on that. I mean, it's probably cheaper to stay near the stadium than it would be to stay in New York City. I don't know if you have plans to check out Manhattan while you're here, but it's typically cheaper to stay in Jersey, closer to the stadium. Maybe stay a little further away from the stadium, just Uber to the stadium if you want. I know people have done that and have saved some money. That's another way to go about it. But I don't have a deal with a specific hotel. If I did, anyone out there in the hotel industry or looking for sponsors, I'd love to help you out. If you're going to Tampa, I have a discount with a Hilton down in Tampa for hotels, but that's obviously not week 1.
Okay. All right, bet. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty excited though, man, because it's not my first Jets game. I went to the Jets and Colts game here a couple years ago, which was pretty shitty. But I know it's gonna be a better experience. I can just tell by the offseason how things are going, under the radar, how we've been moving. I definitely feel like it's gonna be a surprising season to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
I hope you're right. When you went to the Colts game, was that the game on Thursday night that Mike White got hurt in?
Yeah. It was when I was when I got the tickets. That's when Zach Wilson was still our QB, and I was excited to see him. And then he got injured, so I'm like, I'll see what Mike White's about. Then Jonathan Taylor just had a crazy game out of nowhere, and I was just like, it was pretty shitty, But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited though, man. I'm excited to be up there, and hopefully I can see you up there, man. Hopefully I can see you at the game or something.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and hopefully you get to see a win. Most importantly.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, man. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you.
Thabo, good call, man. Glad your internet worked. We got you down in the raffle. Super chat from Chef Kevin. Fastest food reviews, baby. Great show, Jake. I have to run now. Just wanted to see if I can have an interview with Coach Cho for the assistant position. Let's go, Jets. Hey, Chef Kev, call back this week. Next time Cho's on, if you're available, and we'll make that interview happen. Chef Kev, great to see him and his fam at the Yankee outing a couple weeks back, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. We will get him in the raffle for 5 more calls here, and then we got quite the finale planned for this show before we do the raffle. If you want in, your chance to win signed Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles, and Santana Moss 8x10 photo. And tomorrow is the raffle for the Revis jersey, the Klecko signed helmet, the Maynard signed helmet, and the Name It signed jersey. So gift the membership or send in the super chat like Chef Kev just did for your chance to win any of those. Papa Jet is on the line. Hello, Papa.
Hey, Jake, you got me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There's an echo. Papa, call back. Brutal echo there. Brutal. Hopefully, Papa Jet get that straightened out. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw the first show today, I told you all that I received a message from Charles Eugene M. Gorman. The message was from over the weekend. It was right before Charles interviewed for a job at Chili's. The message was this photo. That's all it was. Ladies and gentlemen, we now need to find out how the interview went. For the first time since that interview, Charles Gorman is on the line.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. Give me some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Sing it this way, Charles! The interview went great, Jake. The gentleman, his name was Luis, said he really liked my personality, and he was going to give a copy of my resume to the manager, Stefan, and tell him all about me and everything. I should hear from them within a few days, but the interview went great. I was very professional. I was clean shaven, relatively speaking.
What do you mean, relatively speaking?
Well, I didn't cut myself.
Okay, so you were clean shaven, meaning that you just shaved normally like a normal human.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had a great time with the interview. It was awesome.
You had a great
were very
time?
nice. Yeah, why can I say that I had an excellent experience with the interview?
I mean, what made it so fun? Just did they serve you some food during this thing? They give you some chips and salsa?
Well, funny you asked, I did have brunch after the interview with my brother.
So did you eat at the Chili's?
Yes, once they opened, they served me.
So I'm trying to picture how this looks. So you sat down before they opened, right?
No. See, the thing is, it was like the interview was at 10:30, but the place doesn't open till 11. So my brother and I arrived at the place around 15 to 10 minutes to 10:30. We knocked on the door. One of the gentlemen let us in. And I told him I hear him for a job interview. I was scheduled for 10:30. So it set me right. So he sit at one of the tables. I did. He walked over to me, asked me what am I interested in, what was I applied for, blah 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 blah, and everything went well.
That's great. What did Steady Eddie, your brother, do during the interview?
Nothing. He was doing his own thing.
Was he in the Chili's?
Yes.
So he's kind of just off to the side watching the conversation?
Somewhat, yes.
I see. So what was the first thing they asked you?
Have you had experience working in a restaurant? I said no. They said, don't worry about it. You don't need experience in a restaurant to work here. If this is your first time, we'll train you. Blah, 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 blah. I asked them, have you ever employed people with disabilities? They said, yes, we've had in the past. They said the pay is around 50. I forgot what minimum wage is at this point, like how much minimum wage is at this point. But they said the pay is once every 2 weeks. They asked me what other positions was I interested in. I said dishwasher. He told me it was one of the hardest positions to work with and one of the most important positions to work with in the business. They told me what the host is supposed to do. First impression is everything. You got to have charisma, and he was very impressed with my charisma, very impressed with my personality.
Raised him up?
What?
The way you're describing this, it sounds like you were hitting on him.
I wasn't hitting on the guy.
Well, you said that he was impressed with your charisma, with your personality.
Yeah, he was with the way I was answering his questions.
That's what a girl on a date would say if it's going well. I was impressed with his charisma, his personality.
Well, he liked my personality.
Okay.
I wasn't hitting on the guy. He was very impressed with my answers. He was very impressed with my maturity and professionalism at the interview. I didn't say anything stupid. I didn't do anything stupid. I didn't say anything or do anything to hurt my chances of getting employed.
So at the end of the conversation, what exactly did they say to you?
You should hear from the manager, Stefan. They didn't say when, but they said I should hear from him.
All right. Well, here's what I think you should do. You had the interview on Saturday, correct?
Yes.
I think you should send a follow-up. Did you get contact information for the people you spoke with?
No, I did not.
Well, you should have done that in the future. Ask for these people's emails or their business cards, right? The manager. Follow up. Look it up online. You got the person's name. I'm sure you can find them on LinkedIn or wherever. And send a follow-up email saying, I appreciated the opportunity to speak with you about the position. Please let me know if you need any other information on my end. I look forward to hopefully joining the team. So say something along those lines, all right?
No problem.
Actually do it, though. Don't just say you're going to do it and then bullshit.
I will do it, Jake. I was actually thinking about doing it while you were telling me.
All right. Well, I think it's a good idea.
Is that all you want to talk about?
My brother wants to know, did they ask you where do you see yourself in 5 years? And did you answer?
No, I
doing
was
your wife?
surprised you didn't ask me that question. And no, I was not going to say doing your wife.
Okay,
Nor
that's
doing
good.
your son. I'm not Peter Griffin. I'm not that stupid.
Okay. Now, what did you have at Chili's when you ultimately
My
were
brother
there
and I
for?
shared some chicken quesadillas, and we had a Reese's peanut butter pie sundae. Peanut butter pie, excuse me.
So when the interview was over, was it 11 or did you have to go back out of the Chili's and then come
No,
back
we
in the
waited
sit?
in the restaurant until 11 o'clock.
So at 11, you then sat down at the same table you interviewed for the
No,
job?
we ate
or-
at a different table.
Okay, so you went to a different table. You sat down. Did you tip well?
Yeah, of course we did.
I'm just making sure these could be your coworkers.
I know they were very nice. This one woman, V, was very nice.
Well, this sounds promising.
You damn straight it does. I want to get my fat ass off of unemployment as soon as possible.
Well, I think you now have to follow up. I think that's the next step in the Charles Chili's interview saga here.
That's what I plan on doing at some point today.
Well, why don't you do it right after this call?
Good point.
I'm full of them.
I know you are. Can I talk about the Jets now, or do you want me to hang up?
No, if you have a jet point, I'd love to hear it.
I don't think we should trade Breece Hall at all. I still think he has a lot of potential to be a great play for us.
You didn't fart at Chili's at all, did you?
What?
You didn't fart during the interview, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, continue.
I think it's still disgusting and bullshit that Breece Hall did not get a single consideration for comeback player of the year in 2023. I mean, the guy had over 1,580 scrimmage yards for the Jets in 2023, despite having a hack of a offensive coordinator in Nathaniel Hackett, if you will. And it was real. I mean, we had a really bad offensive line in 2023. Our offensive coordinator sucked. And we really, I mean, Breece Hall did not get a single considered for comeback player of the year in 2023, which I thought was bullshit. I mean, no disrespect to Joe Flacco, but Breece Hall played a full season. And the fact that he didn't get a single consideration for that is absolute bullcrap because that injury he sustained in his rookie year was brutal, man. I don't think we should trade Breece Hall.
Yo Holmes wants to know, Charles, how do you plan to get to and work every day?
Well, my memory serves me correctly. Chili's is actually pretty decent walking distance, and I can take Uber.
Okay. Now, you didn't curse during the interview, did you?
Of course not.
Okay.
I didn't curse. I didn't fart. I didn't sneeze without their permission. I didn't do any of that bullshit.
What do you mean you didn't sneeze without their permission? If you have to
It's a
sneeze,
joke,
just
Jake. It's a joke, Jake.
Well, Charles, your tone doesn't often give off joke.
You think I'm too serious sometimes?
You are too serious.
Why so serious?
You have to relax. You gotta unwind. You gotta have a little more Big Cho in you.
How is Big Joe doing?
He's chilling.
Good for him. But yeah, another Jets take we should have. I'm really like how the coaching staff is handling themselves. I have yet to watch the interview Steve Wilkes did, but I heard it was very nice. I like how professional they are. I shouldn't say appropriate because that would be too wrong. That wouldn't be the right term to use. I like how they're handling their business. I like how they're handling the team. I like how they're putting their stamp on the team. And I know, obviously, this coaching staff, the verdict is out because we're tired of the crap. We're tired of the losing. But if this team, let's say they go 10-7 and miss the playoffs, I think we can say, well, it sucks we missed the playoffs, but at the same time, we're headed in the right direction. Wouldn't you agree, Jake?
I got to see what it looks like to get to
That's what I'm saying. But if we look like we have a legitimate coaching staff for the first time since what? Parcells?
Rex?
Okay, I'll give you that, even though I'm not a big fan of Rex. But that's
What do you
another
mean
story.
you'll give me that? The last time this team was any good, he was the head coach. They won 4 playoff games over a 2-year span, and we're in the championship game with below average quarterback play in the regular season.
What I'm trying to say is, yes, Rex. I do think Rex wasn't that good of a head coach, but
Are you jealous Rex could put down more in one sitting at Chili's than you probably could? Is that what this is about?
I'm not jealous of Rex at all. I'm just saying we had a pretty good coaching staff overall outside.
Are you
of Rex.
anti-feet? Is that your thing? You don't like that Rex likes feet?
Maybe, maybe not. I was actually thinking about doing a video about me stating my thoughts on the Rex Ryan experience, but that's a different story for another time.
Why don't you go send a follow-up email right now?
I'm going to do that, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Charles, great call. Glad the interview seemingly went well, and hopefully you get this thing.
Same here. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Gorman.
Hi, I'm Charles, and I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and movies and sports and video games and maybe hot chicks.
You can say a lot of things about Rex. We will not stand for Rex Ryan slander. All right. Look at the staff that Rex Ryan led. All right. First off, Schottenheimer now is finally a head coach, oh, by the way, but Pettin became a head coach. Mike Westhoff was one of the best ever. Right? Rex knew what he didn't know. Like, he kept good guys in place. He kept Bill Callahan in place. He kept Westhoff. He kept Schotty. He brought in new staff on defense. A lot of those guys. Anthony Lynn ended up being a head coach. I mean, that was an all-star staff. That's why they were good. And Rex gave this team an identity, too, ground and pound. Craig checking in. Good day, Jake. Up and out early today. Grab your boomerangs, people. Craig is tuned into a show. Craig will be here in September. Can't wait. All right. Let's see if the echo is fixed for Papa Jet. And then I got the closer on the line when I get the names ready for the raffle. The show's coming to an end soon, though, because I am on the radio. Papa Jet, go ahead.
Am I better, Jake?
Let's find out. Is there an echo? No. Go ahead, Papa Jet.
I don't know what goes on. I have the same settings. I don't do nothing, so I don't know. But anyways, I'll make this real quick. I know you got to go. As far as the running back room, I think our running back room can be special this year. Just my opinion. And then this morning's show, I only caught half of it, but I saw a lot of Clemens talk in the chat. I know I'm going to be the only one, but I'm still willing to give him a chance, at least to see what Glenn can do with him. And I mentioned this on a previous call, but I know his first year, he showed his talent. He blocked the punt, and it's almost like when he got the starting gig, he took a crap, you know? So I think what Will said today, maybe he could be a good, like a rotational depth piece, you know, third or fourth guy coming off the bench, you know? So I'm willing to give him one more chance just to see what Glenn can do. But, you know, if they cut him tomorrow, I'm not going to cry about it. And lastly, Jake, sorry to bring this up, but I'm a Pirates fan. So, but their last game, not count last game, but their previous 6, they swept St. Louis, all shutouts. Their next 3, they got swept by Seattle, all shutouts. Have you ever seen that? Like a team goes 6 straight games with the games with shutouts? I don't know if that's ever happened. It's just that was weird.
Yeah, I haven't. I did see Paul Skeens, his ERA is under 2, and he's like 4-7, which is insane.
You know what? The last game he pitched, there was a no decision. They lost 1-0. And then his last loss, I think it was 2-1 or something. They don't score runs for him. I feel bad for him. He's a special kid.
It's very DeGrom-like with the Mets. It really is.
Yeah, he's going to be a good one. But I'll let you go, Jake, because I know you got to scoot. So have a good one.
Papa, I am thrilled that you were able to call back, and don't worry about it. If there's an echo, call back in. We'll get you on. Ladies and gentlemen, who's better than John? A $100 super chat at the literal buzzer, because I'm about to put together the names for the raffle for this and for our weekly raffle tomorrow morning. And John just bought himself $20 tickets in the raffle with a $100 super chat. Let's go, John.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
John, I got you. And by the way, thanks for signing up for the Patreon as well. Good to get you in the Discord. I saw you joined. Beautiful. All right. I don't know why he couldn't call in earlier. Nate, please don't be too long because I have to get to a production.
I know you got to get to your radio.
Minutes. Let's go.
Shout out. First of all, I want to give you a shout out because we had the meetup at Citi Field this weekend, and 16 of your people from your community flew out and joined us for the Subway Series. I know you were there for the lunch, but it's frankly amazing that people spent time and plane money, hotel money, and all that to come out and like whatever. We probably saw 18 or 20 people. Shout out to everyone who was there.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it all kind of like stemmed from your community.
So I'll let you finish. I appreciate you documenting everything in the Discord for all of us to follow along. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, I wanted to get pictures of all of it. It was really awesome. Real quick, 'cause I know you got to go. I'm gonna attempt to talk basketball, which I know Black Gypsy is gonna go right over his head. But do you like the hiring? I mean, to me, it seems like he's the offensive version of Thibodeau, and I was all over. Like I hated Tibbs because it was just defense, and I told you on the last call on my bike, like during the playoffs, like his offense is just give it to the best player, and like I personally hated watching that. They have such a talented offense. They had a better team than Indiana, and now they hired like Rick Carlisle basically. Like he runs a lot of the sets that Rick Carlisle runs. You're going to see a lot of like double staggered screens. You're going to see Cat as a playmaker this year. It's like what he turned Sabonis into in Sacramento. Like I think he's one of the more underrated coaches of all time. He's got, I think, 23 seasons. He's been an NBA coach. 20 of them are winning seasons. 16th best winning percentage of all time. Like the guy can coach. He's won, I think, 3 or 4 NBA championships, granted as an assistant, right? But I think you got to give him a chance because he's an offensive, like at least now he runs a lot of offensive sets that are modern to the league. And with the team they have, like you're gonna have it's gonna look more like the Pacers, I think, where Bridge is gonna be able to create. You're gonna have the ball in OG's. OG's not gonna stand in the corner and wait to get past the ball. Like OG's an all-star caliber player, and we saw that at times. Like we're gonna see it throughout the. I think we're gonna see Deuce be able to get a little more. We got a coach, so I think Knicks fans should be excited. It's something different, and like Vegas still has them as the favorites, right? So it's like I think the rest of the world sees the roster this has, and I think a couple Achilles is definitely going to help them next year. But yeah, like you said, hopefully they make it to the finals.
That's what he's going to be judged on ultimately. Your points are fair. I just think there's a lot of risk involved in this. Mike Brown's not a bad coach though, and I definitely preferred him over an assistant who's never been a head coach before. I think in this environment, with the expectations being what they are, I think you're asking a lot to give someone their first chance at it. Like it could work. We saw Steve Kerr do it. We saw Nick Nurse do it. They won championships. I get it. I think New York's a little different. So I like the fact that, Mike Brown, as of 2 years ago, was the coach of the year. He's coached superstars before LeBron, Kobe, been around Steph and KD. Like, I think that's all positive.
Yeah, and I see Homeless Gypsy just asked, is he better than Tibbs? We don't know, but I don't think Tibbs has an offense to win a championship. And like that's what the Knicks decided too. His offense can't win in the playoffs. They lost to Tyrese Halliburton and a bunch of bums, like just due to Rick Carlisle being a better coach. So they got a coach that they think they can beat the Pacers now, and that should be their only hurdle. Maybe the Magic. I don't know. So we'll see. Jake, go do your thing. I'll call in on the radio in an hour. So good luck on ESPN.
Nate, thank you very much. All right. Hold on. I'm torn here. There's 2 people left. I don't want to not get to them. I'm going to get to both. I'm going to get to both here. We'll make it quick. Jay Grow is next. Gary, I see you. I will get you on as well. Don't worry. What's up, Jay Grow?
I'll be quick, man. I had a blast at the Yankees game. I know it's been a minute since I talked to you, but my son.
That's why I had to get you on, man. I hadn't seen you since.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I guess as long as we're talking Yanks, I'll do that. I mean, as long as I'm bringing up the Yanks, I might as well talk Yanks. I'm conflicted now. I mean, they're making a lot of boneheaded. Boone is making a lot of boneheaded calls. A lot of, I don't understand the shuffling of the lineups, but I think his time is worn out here. I think it's time for him to go. But I'm conflicted because without Cole, you're missing 3 of your starters. So he, in theory, if you had Cole and Fried at the top of the rotation. If you had Gil healthy, I mean, I don't know where we would be right now, but it's just too many boneheaded calls. I'm ready for a move. Bring in Willie Randolph. I say, there you go. There's an out of the box thought. Okay. I'll leave you with that. because
Jaco.
we're short on time, but I will get caught up with you soon.
I appreciate you. I don't think they're going to make a change. I think they would have done it, but it's frustrating, man. I get very annoyed when Boone like gaslights us with these press conferences. All is well. It's fine. Have some milk and cookies, Yankees players. Like, it's like, no, man, it's okay to show emotion and be upset with the level of play, with the bad defense, bad base running, letting the other teams take the extra base. Like, you don't need to only blindly defend your players. You're allowed to say, we believe in this guy, but that was a bad play. Like, we expect more from him. Like, you're okay. You could say that. I think they're going to be okay, though, because I don't think the American League is great, but they got some problems right now, and they're going to need to be active at the deadline. At least Luis Seal's starting a rehab assignment Saturday. He's back maybe by the end of this month. We'll see. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our final caller, as I'm nearly ready to do this raffle, is...
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
No, you could just... I was calling to ask if there was an update on Charles, and then I wanted to see if Nate called him, but then Nate called in right ahead of me. I didn't... like, my questions were answered. If you got to run, you got to run. Like, go ahead and take off.
What if you just left the green room then? So then I couldn't go to you.
I got some weird notification on my phone that I was dealing with like the last 7 minutes, and that was like the last 7 minutes. Like,
I see. So rather than just leave the green room and just watch the show on YouTube, like 99.9% of the audience, you just sat there, and I thought, oh, Gary wants to make a point.
I was trying to cut you off like that. Like, it's all good. It's all good. Like, don't worry about it. Like that. Like, don't worry about me. Don't have to go to me.
All right. Well, since you're on the line, can you at least give us a point? Thank you.
One thing though.
No, one thing, Gary. You had your chance.
I'm pointing. I point.
You had your shot. But don't worry, Gary. You are on the Wheel of Champions for that brilliant phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
All right, here we go. You guys know the rules by now. If you don't win, you have a chance to win tomorrow. First show of the day. Giving away 4 awesome prizes. And then much more to be announced for the next installment of weekly raffles. Here we go. Music, please. Ladies and gentlemen, only one can win. Good luck to all. And again, thank you to everyone who supports the show. Without you, these raffles would not be possible. The winner of the, and by the way, Mike Dems, I did account for you. Hold on. Jet, set, go at the buzzer here. Do we let him in? I'm going to let him in because I'm a good guy. Jet, set, go. I'm adding you live as the wheel is open 5 times. Unbelievable. Jet, set, go. Thank you. I'll make sure that we get you in the weekly one tomorrow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Reshuffle the names. Here we go. Nobody else. Mike Dems, I got you down too. Don't worry. Here we go. The winner is listener. Papa Jet. How about that? His internet sucked. He called back and he got a chance to win himself a prize. Love it. Congrats to Papa, a true diehard Jet fan, a great guy, well-deserving of our signed Wayne Corbett, Lavernius Coles, and Santana Moss 8x10 authenticated photo. That does it for me. I got 3 hours of radio coming up in about an hour. So tune in nationally on Sirius Channel 80 or your local ESPN affiliate, the ESPN app, the whole thing. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll have 2 more shows for you. Again, congrats to Papa. Thank you to Matt O'Leary for joining. Rex Ryan, your super chat. If you want Gary's opinion on the Nets, I think he has a YouTube show that talks about that. So check that out. There's a plug for Gary. All right, I'm out of here. Jets, Jets, Jets.